What's up, guys? Mickle here, and I don't think there's any debate out there right now that one of the killer apps, one of the most important things cryptocurrencies has brought to the real world really has been stablecoins. Now, the XRP ledger has a ton of great things going for it. It's really leading the way on efficient and fast blockchain technology, but one thing it's really lacking is a killer stablecoin. If you've been following this channel for a while, you would know that one of the things I have been saying is we need to get USDC, the leading regulated stablecoin out there, on the XRP ledger. Now, so far that hasn't happened, but I want to share with you in this video a brand new clip created by 24 Hours Crypto that I think is going to make you extremely bullish that we will see USDC on the XRP ledger very soon, and it could be the #1 market for the USDC token. In this video, we're going to go over that, as well as towards the end of the video, actually talk about something major that's happening next week involving Gary Gensler. Guys, Gary Gensler has got by for a very long time, not having any real pressure put on him, but something actually happened earlier today that went completely under the radar that could completely change the calculus for Gary Gensler's cryptocurrency agenda. Make sure you stick around to the end of the video to see that. Almost no one is talking about it, and it's extremely important. Like always, your support means so much to this channel. If you enjoy these videos, make sure to take a quick second to like this video and subscribe to my channel. It's really going to help me out so much. Also, if you ever need a good place to buy some XRP or the Flare token, make sure to check out my favorite exchange uphold down in the description of this video. With that said, though, let's jump right into it. I hope you guys enjoy the content. So I want to start out this video and just share with you the clip created by 24 Hours Crypto because I think this is extremely powerful. And like I said earlier, stablecoins are going to be absolutely critical to this next generation financial system we're heading into. Now, Ripple so far has had a very different strategy, in my opinion, for stablecoins. They've really been working with the regulated institutions to create their own stablecoins on the XRP ledger, and then those institutions could use those stablecoins for their own use cases. But one thing that the XRP ledger has really lacked is a public stablecoin, something like a USDC. Well, I wanted to share this video with you real quick, created by 24 Hours Crypto, because it's going to let you know that Circle is fully ready to deploy a stablecoin like USDC on the XRP ledger. They're just waiting for something that so far hasn't been available on the XRP ledger. After I play you this video, I want to tell you exactly what they're waiting for and that this thing could actually be very close to happening. I think this could be a game changer for the XRP ledger, and if you listen up to this clip, they'll tell you exactly why the XRP ledger will likely win out over the other blockchains out there. Listen up to this and then we'll break it down.
I think USDC is obviously incredibly important for the crypto industry, right? I mean, it is, in my sense, pretty much the killer app of sort of retail crypto, because it does solve the key problem of moving money and moving money quickly and cheaply. I think this sort of thesis still needs to be played out, but I think where USDC is going to hit a cap is going to be at scale. So when I talk about the $10 trillion that we're processing every night, So when I talk about the $10 trillion that we're processing every night, and I was looking this morning, I think the market, the 24-hour volume for both USDC and USDT is like $25 billion or something. That's like 400 times less than what we do every day. And if you think about having to fully reserve $10 trillion to be able to make those payments every day, that's a lot of liquidity that you're taking out of the system.
This problem, and I think we're really close. I mean, USDC itself we've seen over $3.5 trillion of transactions directly on the internet between counterparties. And so if we can, improve it with more scalable blockchain technologies like, Brad's company provides, more scalable blockchain technologies like, Brad's company provides.
So I think that USDC has, 100% a place to play. I don't know that in its current construct, it can play at the institutional level.
Clients don't want, individual bank tokens. They want multi-token, multi-border liquidity for added efficiencies.
And there is a lot of money that is being put in terms of trying to solve these technical issues of interoperability. Now, the second one is more complicated. It has to do with liquidity. So imagine that you have a pair of currencies for which there is not a complementary demand. You need to go and search for a third-party currency in order to make this settlement actually happen. And this really complicates things. So we need to put pieces of technology that can make more efficiency this use of liquidity so that more transactions can be settled.
So I thought that was a really cool clip right there. And the two things I really want to talk about is why USDC isn't on the XRP ledger yet, and really why the XRP ledger will likely win out for the biggest market for the USDC stablecoin. So the first thing why USDC isn't on the XRP ledger yet is because there's no clawbacks. On all the other blockchains USDC is issued on, essentially there are clawbacks that allow Circle to actually pull back USDC payments if they're instructed to by a government agency. So say for example, someone used USDC to pay a terrorist to commit some crime. Well, Circle's going to have to pull that money back if a government tells them to. Now, a lot of the original cypherpunks, a lot of the early Bitcoin people think this is a terrible idea, but I think those of us in the XRP community understand that this is just what happens when you work with regulated institutions. This is what happens when you live in the real world. You need to comply with what governments want, and if people are using your blockchain to pay terrorists or do different illicit activities, you're going to need ways to actually pull that money back and say, okay, this transaction shouldn't have been allowed to happen. So essentially what Circle is doing is waiting for that to be available on the XRP ledger, and it's actually an amendment that's being voted on right now. Now, this amendment won't make it so anyone can pull back your XRP. It's just going to make it so if anyone issues an asset on the XRP ledger, that entity, right, they can do clawbacks if they need to. So they're never going to be able to claw back your XRP, but if you were using USDC on the XRP ledger and you were to go pay some terrorists to go do something terrible, well, then that money could get pulled back. I think it's really important that these capabilities come to the XRP ledger because I think it's going to make blockchains a lot more digestible for some of the biggest institutions out there. There are a ton of benefits to blockchain technology, but also a lot of stuff that kind of concerns and scares governments and large entities. I think adding something like clawbacks to the XRP ledger is a really easy way to hand these large institutions and governments something that they're really going to want without actually compromising the decentralized nature of XRP and the XRP ledger itself. Overall, if this is what we need to get an entity like Circle on the XRP ledger, I think that would be a massive benefit because as Circle looks to start expanding their USDC coin on more blockchains, ultimately that market's going to consolidate. All the value, all the payments, all the activity of the USDC stablecoin is ultimately going to move to the most efficient and most liquid blockchain. There's no point to having USDC on 10 different blockchains if one of them just works the best. I really do think the XRP ledger could be in a scenario, and Jeremy Allaire actually alluded to this in this video, to actually be the dominant market for the USDC stablecoin, and I think that could just be a game changer for the network as a whole. Overall, I just thought this was a really cool clip. It really makes you understand that USDC Circle, they are willing to issue their token on the XRP ledger. They just need a couple things to happen first. And I think we're a lot closer to those things happening than many people understand. I think these are all going to be important steps to really taking blockchain technology into the real world and giving governments and institutions the things they need to feel comfortable really adopting this technology. So now I want to move on and talk about something pretty serious that happened earlier today that almost everyone's ignoring, and that's that we actually had Rep. James Comer say that if Gary Gensler did not respond to his oversight committee, who was essentially asking for FTX documents by next Friday, he was going to issue a subpoena. Now, we have been saying forever on this channel, issue a damn subpoena already. Give Gary Gensler a subpoena. Let's get those documents so we can finally put some real pressure on Gary Gensler and he can't just sit around dodging questions. Now, it looks like we are finally coming to the moment where the subpoena could be right around the corner. Something very important to note here is James Comer has actually issued a bunch of subpoenas in the past, so he's not someone who's all talk here. He's someone who's actually willing to do it, and this could be very, very important in putting pressure on Gary Gensler. I think we all agree that Gary Gensler has a lot of bodies hidden, but pulling up those bodies and actually proving them is something that's been difficult, and therefore we haven't been able to put any real pressure to really get Gary Gensler scared. But if we can issue Gary Gensler subpoenas, that could completely change the calculus. And just today, we actually got confirmation that Rep. James Comer is going to issue Gary Gensler a subpoena if he doesn't comply with what they're asking for by next Friday. This is something we're going to have to keep our eyes on because Gary Gensler is going to have to do some political calculus here. Is he just going to hand over what these people want, or is he going to make them issue the subpoena? Either way, I think this is a really important step on just something finally getting done. We have been watching Gary Gensler squirm his way through all these congressional hearings, dodge all these questions, get away with not answering anything, and finally we're starting to see some repercussions. I really do hope that Gary Gensler, with this pressure on him, is either going to have to completely change his calculus towards the cryptocurrency industry, or even possibly leave his position at the SEC. It's all going to depend on how bad those FTX documents are, and I will remind everyone who thinks maybe it's extreme that I'm saying he could leave the SEC, Gary Gensler was actually at the CFTC 5 to 10 years ago, and he was actually tied up in another scandal there, and essentially, as soon as people were about to find out about the scandal, he left the CFTC. So if his involvement in FTX is as bad as some people speculate, there actually is a possibility he could be out of the SEC. I just want to finish this video off and show you one last thing that I thought was absolutely amazing by Ashley Prosper. She collected a whole bunch of quotes of different judges over the last year, just completely destroying the SEC, and I retweeted this on my Twitter. I'm not going to read through the entire thing. I would just butcher every single one. It would take me forever to get through the whole thing. But what you'll notice is if you look at every single cryptocurrency case that's happened over the last year, almost every single judge has been critical of the SEC. The main reason I bring this up is because we have had so many hurdles over the last year or two fighting back against these agencies, and the thing is it has been slow, but we are winning. The cryptocurrency industry is pushing back hard against the SEC. This has been and probably will be one of the biggest attacks the cryptocurrency industry has ever seen, and we are winning big. Ultimately, I really do think we're past the worst of it. I think we weeded out a lot of the worst companies, and I think, like I said earlier in this video, we are so much closer than ever before to actually getting this innovation in the hands of the players who need it to actually transform the financial system. I was on a Twitter space earlier today, and there was actually someone who has a lot of inside information saying that next year is going to be a massive year for actually advancing the cryptocurrency industry to the place we all want it to be. Guys, this person's in the know. While he was kind of speculating, I thought it was really encouraging to actually hear him talking like that. He has his hand on the pulse. Guys, I think the wins we have been getting in court are really starting to push people politically to understand that this industry is here to stay and you can't just regulate it out of existence. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for coming. I hope you enjoyed this update. If you did, make sure to like and subscribe. It's really going to help me out so much. And for now, Mickle out.